generally speaking, you don't want to be in a position of re-attracting someone, right? Because whatever you try to, pretty much whatever you chase is running away from you. But usually when we re-attract someone, naturally it's when we're not aware of it, right? It becomes harder when you're consciously trying to do it because you're expecting a result, and when you don't get the result, you get emotionally frustrated, and then you start reacting from the same emotions that caused you to push them away. So in this video, we're gonna cover it all right? We're gonna talk about the psychology of re-attracting someone, why most people don't go back to their exes, and then we're gonna talk about what did you do most likely to make them lose interest, and we're gonna talk about what to do to regain and re-attract the ex that you turned them off because of your neediness. And don't forget, as you're watching this video, notice your breath. Become aware of your breath. Practice present moment awareness. This will allow you to, whenever somebody makes you needy and the emotions distract you and force you to think about the emotions, you just notice the breath. And it allows you to control your thoughts so that you can stay present and you don't re-agitate yourself by thinking about the problem. Because if you just feel the emotion and notice the breath, you pretty much are replacing the reaction of feeling the emotion, thinking about the problem, going into places that makes no sense, right? And causing you more harm. By noticing the breath, you're just training that muscle so that when you feel intense emotions, they don't completely absorb all of your attention. Because if you learn how to allow yourself to not be absorbed by this video, by noticing the breath, when those intense emotions happen, you'll have a high likelihood to not go unconscious and let those emotions absorb all of your attention, because that's how they control you and they become part of your psyche. They're parasitic when you have no control over your attention. And look, before we begin, let me just give you guys some hope, all right? People get back with their exes a lot more than in the past. Now, this could be a negative thing, right? Because then that means that people cheat more than in the past. But when it comes to re-attracting your partner, then that's a good thing. Now, when it comes to somebody who has a committed relationship, you should definitely fear the person's past, right? Because that's, an ex has a lot of control over someone. But essentially, re-attracting somebody is all about, sometimes people just forget how valuable you are. Just like in life, we only appreciate life once we're about to die, right? Sometimes you are a very attractive person, somebody who is worthy of love, but because you overexpose yourself, because you show too much emotion, you don't give them enough space, they take you for granted. Just think about that. We do that with a lot of things, right? Don't we? We do that with everything, with our kids, with our parents, right? Like the other day, I was just thinking of my mom, and like I was like, holy shit! And she's in Dominican Republic, and I'm like, oh man, I hope she's okay. And the fear of that country, because it is dangerous, made me miss her more, because I'm like, I hope she fucking survives. Now, it was the weed making me paranoid, but the fear of losing her made me realize how important she is, right? Like sometimes we just don't give the person space. So sometimes a breakup is needed. Sometimes they need to lose interest so that they can reevaluate things, and if they love you, they'll come back. Look, this, in my opinion, if people are acting hot and cold in the beginning, that's a red flag. But hot and cold after a few years, I think it's normal. And I think it's just a sign that you guys just need a break from each other. And I think that's a very natural thing. But yeah, anyways, let's begin with the video. I just wanted to include that because, December is a month when most people's relationships end. It is, right? It's kind of crazy. So I just want you guys to give you hope that just leave them alone. They'll come back. Just give them space. But let's begin. By the way, this video is sponsored by my loyal Patreon supporters. And in there, if you join my Patreon gang, you guys can ask questions like about your dating life, and I answer them in the form of a video. You guys can join weekly Zoom meetings that I have. I have them once or twice a month, or even 4 times a month, right? And there you guys can interact with me, ask me questions. And also I post Patreon exclusive videos where I don't post on YouTube. And I post all of the meditations that I do. I post them right there so that you guys can listen to them anytime you want. If you guys like the mindfulness aspect of this channel, check us out on Patreon. So look, the first one is that most people don't go back to their exes because they just don't find them attractive any longer, right? Either because they lost interest, simply because you just lose interest. Like you buy something new and then you lose interest after a while. That's a natural thing. Or your partner let themselves go, and because they let themselves go, you don't find them physically attractive no more, right? The other reason is because they were physically violent towards them, or their long-term goals changed. So physical or verbal abuse, you losing interest in them physically because either they let themselves go, or because you just stopped finding them attractive, or your long-term goals change. Maybe they wanted kids and you didn't. So that's one of the reasons why they never go back to their exes, right? Now, what did you do to cause them to not want to go back to you, right? Because one of the main reasons why people lose interest is because we do something about it. We self-sabotage, and rarely is because we did too much, too little. Rarely is because we were too distant. Yeah, it is true, but rarely is because of that. Genuinely, most of the reason why you lost the person is because you did too much. They wanted some distance and you didn't give it to them. You saw them wanting distance as an act of aggression, as them saying, I don't like you no more. Right? And what you have to be able, this is where growth comes in, right? Because in relationships, people will want distance and it's not personal. And you not taking it personal will be an indication of how mature you are. If you're able to resist the pull of taking things personal, if you resist that pull through mindfulness, breathing, right? It's almost like saying, okay, it's almost like, sorry, people, the thing died. You allow the emotions to pass through you without you holding on. And when I say holding on, I mean you see that emotion and you don't like it, so you think about why it sucks. And that is the mind's version of holding on to unnecessary emotion. The way you let go is that you see that emotion and you don't even think about. You just feel it. You just say, okay, that's there. Right? Fighting it is, oh my God, that's there. I don't like it. Oh my God, this is because this happened and that happened. It's almost like you're holding it and the mind is like, dude, can we just let go of it? What else is going on in this moment? What else is going on? I know that's a part of the moment, but fuck me. Like, there's also the light. There's also your breath. We just notice other things? This is not the only thing. Then you're like, no, but this emotion is not good. And then life is like, but look, there is that. There is that. There is that. Stop giving this so much meaning. Can we also pay attention to the sound of the bird, to the sound of the refrigerator, to the breathing, to you feeling your hand, and your mind is like, but that emotion is very important. Don't you know that that's how we don't let go? So just notice your breath. And even though you might feel that needy emotion, noticing the breath is pretty much the equivalent of letting things go, right? So by developing a mindfulness practice, you could eliminate the self-sabotaging emotions that causes people to naturally lose interest because of you pushing them away because of you experienced some trauma in your past, right? So yeah, the other thing is that your unwillingness to let this go can also be a reason why you lost them. In other words, your unwillingness to let them go causes you to still act needy, causes you to not let them go. But if you actually let them go, a magical thing happens. Is that a lot of the time, sometimes people come back to you, right? It's one of the ironies. Now, why do most people come back? One, let's talk about what increases the likelihood of your exes coming back. Okay, let's talk about that because there's been some research. One is being over 50. If you're over 50, there's a high likelihood that your exes could come back because older people actually come back to previous relationships more than younger people. Why? Because there's plenty of reasons, but also because when you're young, you think you have more options. When you're older, you usually go back to the older options. The other one is length and quality of prior relationship. The longer you've been together and the better it was, the more likelihood there is of you guys getting back together. The other one is getting back together with if it happened within 6 months, there's a high likelihood, but after 6 months, the likelihood of you guys getting back together goes lower.
By the way, people, we're having 20% off all of my online courses, specifically the psychological game of attraction. This course is no natural chemistry. This course is a course specifically made for women who are in relationships and want to improve on the relationship they already have. It's 20% off, so it'll come down to you for 70 bucks, I believe. Right, 75, I don't know, right? But in this is a 5-week course where I will teach you all of the strategies to maintain a happy relationship. And this is pretty much based on the advice I've given and the feedback that I've gotten and based on research, okay? This is not just me being willy-nilly assuming. This is based on what I've seen. That's why I haven't made a marriage course, people, all right? I mean, you get what I'm saying? So this one's for women who are in relationships. This one is for women who are single. I will teach you the playbook that goes from the first time you meet to the third month, right? Because usually somebody should love you by the third month. All right. So this course will take you through that phrase and it will help you identify whether or not this person likes you, right? So we have 3 phases. The first one is we talk about the psychology of attraction. After that, we talk about the pre-honeymoon period when you start creating interest, the honeymoon period where you solidify that interest, and the post-honeymoon period, which is naturally when people lose the game and when naturally most relationships end. But I will teach you, so you will learn to identify what part of the relationship you're in. Either you're in the honeymoon period, post honeymoon period, or the pre honeymoon period. And each video, each section has a video specifically for that period. Honestly, it's a course that would it's like getting coached by me, right? 20% off. Click on the description down below. And if you don't like it, you could ask for your money back. 30-day money back guarantee. All right? Okay, I'll see you guys inside. The other reason is improving yourself. If they broke up because you were immature or because you had some emotional issue you have to work on, studies show that self-improvement, working on yourself, increases the likelihood of your ex coming back. And also commitment level. If you weren't committed and your ex was committed, by you becoming more committed, it increases the likelihood of your ex coming back. And also attraction level. If you became more attractive, your ex might come back a lot more. Hey, notice your breath. Notice the breathing. Notice the different sounds around you. Notice the sensation of your clothes. Notice the way my voice here sounds in your ear. Notice the different colors around you. Notice the space in between objects. Acknowledge the silent presence of all the objects around you, and keep yourself present as you watch this video. And this makes a lot of sense. If you're a man and you become more famous and more successful, or you start a business, there's a high likelihood that a lot of exes will come back. And if you're a woman and you became more attractive, you got back in shape, a lot of your exes will come back, right? And also, if there's a pandemic, right? During the pandemic, a lot of exes came back. Why? Because there was less options, right? So how do you increase the likelihood of the chances of your ex coming back? If you improve yourself and move on, you put yourself in the best possible position to get back with your ex. It's one of the most ironic things, right? But moving on, right? It's the law of I forgot what the law is, but the law is of hyperintention is that the more you want to fall asleep, the less likely you are of falling asleep. This shows in a lot of things. The more you want something, the less likely it is for you to be attracted because your needy energy pushes it away. You gotta develop a high intention, high intention, low attachment, right? But it's easier said than done. But you could do that through developing a practice of meditation. People, meditation will allow you to develop that type of mentality. But essentially, if you move on, it just increases the likelihood of your ex coming back. Well, it's almost like the rich get richer. The one who doesn't want you is the one that you want, right? It's so ironic because it's like, okay, then what's the point? I don't want them. I moved on, so now they're back. And you're like, yeah, I know, right? That's like it's weird. It's like I didn't make the rules, right? What you don't want to do is beg your ex to get back together with you. Such low mate value behavior almost guarantees your ex won't come back. Or if they come back, they'll come back in a disrespectful. Okay, I'm back. I'll fix I'll massage my feet. Like they'll come back with an attitude, right? Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring conscious awareness to the breath, just like this.
And because of that smug attitude, a lot of people just want to get revenge on their exes, right? And they want to hurt them, even though they want them. There's also a part of them that hates them. It's a polarity. It's a love hate relationship that you've developed, and a lot of the times it's just a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself, where you want to love yourself, but a part of you doesn't like yourself, and that's why you have such a need to be with somebody else, because you're not happy with yourself, right? And so this desire for revenge really comes, or desire to hurt them, because it's not. And it's funny because actually being happy is the best revenge, and the reason why is because it hurts the ego. Why are you happy without me? It, Imagine that you're a dead person, and you come back to the person who loved you the most 10 years later, and you see them happy with another partner. I'm telling you, if you're a dead ghost, you're gonna be a very bitter ghost. Like, you're gonna be butthurt, right? Like, the fact, just you being happy without someone has more than an effect than you can imagine. It's as simple as being happy and actually showing that you're happy, right? That's a fake part. But if you're showing that you're happy and you're actually happy, sometimes that's enough to get them to come back to you, because it shows that you have developed emotional stability. It shows, and which naturally makes you a more attractive partner. You see, emotional stability, having control over your emotion, is what makes you beautiful as a woman and beautiful as a man. As you get older, beauty is what shines from within. And if you're happy with yourself, comfortable with yourself, at ease with your age, at ease with the aging process, you become beautiful. That's the definition of beauty. It's elegance, it's class, it's adjusting to life and not getting bitter and not looking back and having youth envy. And you develop that through having a mindfulness practice, to be quite honest with you. And if you want to develop a mindfulness practice, become a Patreon supporter, because that's where we post all of our meditations and all of our mindfulness practices. If you want your ex to come back, you have to give them a good reason for to doing so. You have to think as you got to think yourself as a worthwhile option. If you break up because of a flaw of yours, it'll help if you show them that you've changed, right? So one big reason why people lose interest is because, one, you lost yourself physically. You stopped working out. So just get back in shape. If you're a dude and it's because your ex broke up with you because you lost your job and you became a loser, like as an example, get a job and don't become a loser, right? If it was because you were needy and you didn't give him enough space, work on that, right? Look, my best transformations in life came because an ex broke up with me, and I had to work on myself. Sometimes somebody breaking up with you is a blessing. It's feedback from life. It's telling you need to work on yourself. It's telling you need to grow and you need to mature, right? Breakups are not the end of the world. Breakups, it's always a start of something new, right? Let people, and also if you want them to come back to you, let them observe you from a distance. Let them see you act attractive from a distance. It's almost like when you go to a social group, right? And you notice people from a distance, and you notice the way they behave from a distance, and you kind of judge them, and you become attracted to them simply because of the way they interact with others. That's how you want to be. Let them get attracted to you from a distance. You may not notice them, but a lot of the times they're just watching you. And if you keep your dignity, if you keep your head high, right, and you act with integrity, people will notice the fact that you've changed, and they'll come back to you. The problem is that you just won't know until the moment comes, right? Like, you can't be looking behind you all the time because they'll notice you. Let them see you interact with others. Let them see you live your life. And what's going to happen is that their imagination will be your friend, right? This has to come from them. You can't force this to happen. You can always keep so it's kind of like keep your profiles on Instagram public, right? But because back then people didn't go back to their exes, right? Like we talked in the beginning, people didn't go back to their exes because they didn't have access to them. Keep your profiles public. Let them see you live your life. Don't try too hard, but let them see you live your life. Let them see you interact with other people. Let them see you smile. Let them see you pursue purposes. Let them see you at peace. And even though you're not at peace, what's crazy is that if you look like you've improved, people will assume you've improved, and they'll pursue you and see what's going on, right? All right, so if you guys enjoyed this video, you guys can don't forget to hit the like button. Let me know what you guys think of this video. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org to work with me one-on-one. 20% off using the coupon code 20 to get 20% off the psychological game of attraction and natural chemistry, and the coupon code Alex to get 40% off. Nice girl. All right. Anyways, I'll see you guys inside.
You see, most of the people who watch my channel are women who have good hearts, who want to help, who want to give unconditionally, and want to get in return, all you ask is unconditional love. But if you're a woman who considers herself a bitch, like an aggressive woman who's super independent, this is not the course for you. Okay, I'm gonna disqualify every woman who has that quality and don't. This is only for nice girls. And unfortunately, there are predators out there who sense this goodness in you and try to take advantage of it. They'll disrespect you. They'll test your limits. They know you can't. They know you don't like confrontation, right? They know you don't like They know you don't like aggression, and so they take advantage of that fact. And this course is specifically made for those women who get disrespected for being good people, who never get anything in return for the good that they provide, right? Because a lot of the times you feel like there's nothing you could do. You've done everything. Every time you try to be nice to people, they don't respect you in return. And that disencourages you for being that good person that you actually are. This course allows you to be that nice person and not get played. It'll teach you how to confront disrespect. It'll teach you how to deal with disrespect. And it'll teach you how to send the right signals. In other words, most likely you're sending signs of weaknesses, signs that you could disrespect me and I won't retaliate. Sometimes the only way to get peace is through the potential of violence. And violence in this case doesn't mean hitting. I mean, people have to sense that you're willing to fight back. And there are non-verbal cues that you can send to people that disencourage people from taking advantage of you. So in this course, I will teach you how to identify people's aggression, how to confront people, how to deal with passive aggressive people, how to deal with emotional disrespect, how to deal with people disrespecting your time, people disrespecting you in public, people who are trying to attack your reputation, and people who are subtly attacking you, right? It'll teach you how to identify signs of weakness in others and in yourself, and it'll teach you how to send signs of strength to avoid any types of attacks on you. And if you don't like this course, and this course is a very quick course because it's only specifically made to teach you how to assert yourself. It's not meant to be it's not meant to be the Bible, people, okay? There's 30% off. No, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. If you don't like it, just ask for your money back and I'll give it to you. No questions asked. So go check it out. And also, you could check out the free, there's some free videos you could watch just to give it a test. Click, watch it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. But just watch the free video and you let me know. 30-day money back guarantee. I'll see you guys inside.